I just wanted to add a little to my previous video about the Star Tarot card on the Economist 2017 cover. There were some fine points I glossed over, while a lot of my newer material assumed some background knowledge about Nimrod, Semiramis, and the rebirth of the divine sun, Tammuz, for example. And that's divine S-U-N sun, as all this revolves around occult sun worship for the most part. It has to do with the solar cross, which is part of the image of the false Christ, which is what divine sun really is, as well as the wheel of time, thanks CERN. It also has to do with reincarnation, quantum computing, and bringing about the Antichrist for the Dragon Phoenix's fifth age. It's not so much about Aquarius in the occult world or the New Age philosophy, though there are some links to that fish on Podesta's hand and the star Sirius, mer people you can even see at the Vatican, as well as the Littlefield Fountain at the University of Texas, and even in Egyptian lore. Osiris and Isis wore tight-fitting scaled fish robes in some depictions. Osiris was also cut into 14 parts, the 14th being his male member, which is what the obelisk represents, as well as Christmas trees. Other than what I already said about the ages of the kids on the card, this likely plays a part. Egypt is not often left out of occult beliefs and practices, and almost all has to do with the star Sirius. You can even make Isis from an anagram of Sirius. You are Isis. Now, when I said Isis, Ishtar, and Islam all share phonetic similarities, I'm not just making word associations. Here's an example. The story of Ishtar, the quick version, is she fell from heaven in an egg. It's the origin of the pagan Easter holiday of Christianity, which is about the spring equinox and sun worship. So she fell from the heavens in an egg. Now let's do an image search for a Kaaba stone vagina and see what we get. Oh yeah, an ovum, an egg, from heaven. Coincidence? No, just as Catholicism incorporates all the pagan symbology of Babylon possible, so does Islam anyway. Another aspect I didn't mention is the possibility there's a hidden layer of the biblical wormwood from Revelation buried in it. 2017 is looking grim to most who are clearly awake to the Dragon Fifth Age being created by occult orders, and it wouldn't surprise me if it did allude to that as much as Pizzagate. There's a rare stellar alignment coming up in September 2017 that I may talk about later in another video, and that might have something to do with it if it is related. Many people have been recording what seems to be Nibiru, also known as Hercolubus, and many feel that's the wormwood we should all be watching out for. I've seen some footage and some of it seems very real, though I have to present the other side of the argument, at least one, and note that NASA has a patent on a sun generator, and Project Bluebeam or similar could even be used to create hysteria around it. Some footage does get analyzed to show that it would be very difficult to create certain shadows with holograms, but again, the 7D holographic show in Dubai is pretty convincing. Can't say for sure if it's real myself. And lastly, just throwing this in really, is the seal of Melchizedek on the San Diego Latter-day Saints temple. I think people should be aware that Masons control the Mormon faith, like many other denominations, and this symbol is used over 10,000 times in artwork around the temple. The significance isn't just that it's 8-pointed as the star card Pete is, or that it's relative to Sirius and all the Virgin Mother Goddess figures. The architects claim that it was just a symbol they came up with, just a coincidence really. But come on, they're Masons. It represents the number 8 also, with 7 being the Father's number of completion, while 8 is the infinite loop, or new beginning and new age. See the correlation? The name Christ is actually based on the Greek Chi-Rho, C-H-I-R-O, the first 2 letters of Christos. It's a name that shouldn't be used. Let's sound that out again. Cairo, Cairo, Egypt. The Greeks and Egyptians had a lot in common actually, and personally I don't say Amen-Ra at the end of prayers either. I'm learning though. Occultists laugh at us about stuff like this, and they're right. Translations mean everything, just as Jesus' real name is Yeshua, and Jesus actually stems from Zeus, or Jupiter Zeus. It's Greek and Roman. That's the false Christ that's being reborn in the womb of the woman in the stellar alignment coming up in 2017, and Jupiter Zeus also rules with an iron rod. That's whose statue was also propped up as the abomination of desolation in the ancient Jewish temple by Antiochus Epiphanes in 167 BC. It's no coincidence. I might make another video about this and talk about some of the finer points, there are many, but this alignment is all occult based, believe that. It's not about Yeshua or true Christianity, even if it does reflect the book of Revelation. It's more Da Vinci Code and serpent seed bloodlines, if anything. Maybe it will even coincide with that false alien creator disclosure, so we get the full effect of its significance. They'll probably say they came from Sirius. That 8-point symbol isn't just about compass points, though I could go on about that being misrepresented also and make a lot of flat earthers happy. I'm coming around to it, I have to admit. I'll leave a link to another video a lot like my own material, though it's largely based on the idea of the flat earth. It requires reading because there's no narration, but I guarantee that even if you don't believe it at the end, you'll still scratch your head and never look at the sun, moon, stars, or NASA the same way ever again. Because just as this NASA logo shows, that's not just a forked tongue you can make from the vector symbol. It's also a T. And the anagram here should be obvious. Satan. Well, isn't that special? Better leave it or don't.